Hey Stampers, just Gaynor again. I've had to remove my pad and I still can't quite get my new trimmer on. I've come in on to do a review of all the trimmers that I've got, so I was asked by the lovely Catherine Fletcher if I would do that, and a couple of other ladies after Catherine mentioned it in group in chat said, oh yes, we'd like to know what you think of your trimmers. So I've got 3 trimmers and I've got a guillotine, and I'm going to show you all 3. And my first bit of news is I'm a demonstrator. I've just logged in about 2 minutes past 6 because we were allowed to order the Stampin' Up blades, 2 packets only. Well, I only want another 2 packets because I've got 1. It kept saying time out, time out, time out, time out. I had to go in and log in as a customer, put 2 in my basket, and as soon as I clicked paid it said you're on back order, and I won't get them till June now. I've been waiting month and a half, 2 months now, and I had to log in as a customer, so I've had to pay the full price. I've had to pay for the delivery, and I've got no commission off. I will get the commission off, but it'll come back to me in the post. How ridiculous. Sold out within 13 minutes, because it was 13 minutes when I could finally log in as a demonstrator, and it still kept popping up going, oh, server slow. Everyone must have rammed online and just ordered 2 lots of the blades. Why didn't they know people want these blades. Why not order more than what they sent off for? Ridiculous. Right, this is my new trimmer. It's the new Fiskars Pro, oh I can't think what it's called. It's the Precision Self-Sharpening Rotary trimmer, and it's a big one, but it's not as heavy as you think. I mean, when the box came, it was humongous, the box, and then inside that box it was humongous again. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave the best till last. How's that? So I'll just pop this out the way. I have had to take my pad off because I needed to keep the desk as level as possible, and to keep it level, because I've only got about, what's that set? 10, 12, about 14 inches. I think because of the extended arm, and where the back leg is, because of all that beautiful cutting space, I haven't got enough room on my desk. If I put it over there on the other desk, I got plenty of space, but you can't see me using it over there. So obviously I like my Stampin' Up trimmer. I actually love it, but it's cheesed me off that they've discontinued it, and they're only going to provide the blades while stocks last, because they're going to fetch something else that's new. Well, one of my beautiful friends has only had her trimmer 6 months, if that, and she can't get all the blades because again they're on back order. I would like to see Stampin' Up give those people who've just bought within the last 6 months to a year, because they don't get damaged. This looks awful, but it's only a piece of paper I've put on. I've had mine since I joined 3 years ago, and I must have gone through 150 blades easy. So they've had their money's worth out of me with blades. But I do crafts a lot. I've got 2 blades, brand new blades left, plus this one I've got in here now, which I did swapped a couple of weeks back. Not a couple of weeks back, about a week and a half ago. But I've been using my guillotine a lot, and I'm going to save my blades now for when I'm doing stepper cards or fun fold cards where you will have to go in and put it in at 1.5, in at 2, cut down to 6, turn it, you know, I'm just going to save it for those cuts. I'm not going to be cutting cardstock out of it like I normally do. Well, actually I don't actually. The only thing I cut on this nowadays is 12 by 12. And I cut it down to the size of one, and then I go back to the guillotine, because like I'm saying, I'm living on borrowed time with these blades. But I'd like to, like I say, I would like to see Stampin' Up offer those people that have bought in the last 12 months, if they return it and it's in good working order, they should give them a huge discount off the new trimmer, scorer, or whatever device they're going to fetch out, because they're going to be fetching out a new Big Shot. I've only just had my Big Shot back, brand spanking new about 4 months ago, because mine broke. So they're not going to be doing those. They're guaranteed for 3 years. So how are they going to replace them if they're no longer selling them? That's another thing. But yeah, like my gorgeous friend Pam has just bought hers. She barely uses it, bless her soul. So it's probably still like new. Can't get any blades, and then they're going to fetch something new out. So I would say, yeah, I'll buy you a new one if you give me half my money back for this one, which is only fair because they knew in the pipeline that it was going to be discontinued. So only fair that they compensate those people for doing it. And I will be putting suggestions in the sandbox, which is where we can leave suggestions, and I will be doing that on behalf of my beautiful friend Pam. So there you go. Right, let me get some really thick cardstock. Fetching 5 sheets across. Now I use A3 card. This is double the size of A2. A4, sorry, this is A3. So if it goes, an A2 is double this size. A1 is double A2 size. So if I cut this in half at 8 1/4, that gives me 2 A4 sheets of cardstock at 8 1/4 by 11 3/4, which is the UK size. So I won't do it on this because I want to save my blade. So let me get I've got the woodware rotary trimmer as well, but you do have to replace these blades. You do have to, but I love this one, but also I can't cut any more than 5.5 inches. I gotta pull the arm out, which it's not very intrusive, and it's a very light trimmer, but it's a pain. You know when you work and you've got loads of stuff on your desk? That's the only con with this woodware one. And people are going to say, why did you buy the fiskars then? Because I want something I don't have to pay for blades for anymore. So let me just pop this in. And the measurements are really good on this, 8 1/4. The only thing is with this one, you've got to press down really hard to get it cut. But look at the line. It's beautiful. It's straight. There's no jagged edges. And this is weighted and magnetised. When it clicks into place, there seems to be something that there's no shift in it. I've got to literally peel it up at the top. So, but can I cut 2 sheets? I must admit, I bought this paper. I'm going to trim that down offline, and for some reason it's come, and it tends to be, look at that, it's over 8 1/4 twice. It's giving me too much. I'm not complaining, but I want my cardstock to be 8 1/4 by 11 3/4. So let's see now. I will cut these in half again at 5 7/8. Now they're bang on. Let's see if I can cut through 2. And I just mark this at 5 7/8, and that gives me half of an A4. And now see, it's cut 1 perfectly. But I don't want to be putting 10 sheets of paper in and moving one out and moving one out and moving one out. I do love this. It's a very clean cut, and it's a nice, and the blades last a lot longer than anything else. But you get a nice clean cut. You don't get no jaggedy edges, and yeah, there I go. I've got 4 card bases straight away. So I pop them in my drawer, along with my whisper white, which I all cut to size. I mean, I do cards every day. And sometimes I'll do 3 cards a day, and I do a sample card. So I need these on hand. That's some shimmery paper. I need these on hand because I can't spend all that time cutting cardstock every time I want to make a card. So I do it in bulk. Oh, Oh, it's more shimmery cardstock there. More there. Oh, no. I've got some shimmery card there as well, but that's old stock. Yeah, so the more I've got of these, the less time I've got to spend cutting them. So this is what I do on a regular basis. I sit there one afternoon and cut a whole pack of paper up. And the same with my Whisper White. So, but look at that. These are from the bottom. Look, you get like, see the speckled edge there? That is from the Stampin' Up trimmer. And to get rid of that, I have to get my bone folder. And I have to just rub it down. I shouldn't have to do that after I've sliced with a blade. You know, and then it's not the perfect edging. See it? See the little bits? So that's another reason I wanted a rotary trimmer, because the blading is supposed to be brilliant. I've got quite a fair stock of Whisper White. So I love this, but it'll only cut through one sheet, and that is 300 GSM. So, but paper wise, oh, it's a dream to cut through. You know, you can measure at the bottom, at top or at the bottom here. Most people tend to, I'll cut this at 4 inches. And paper, it flies through, you know, and it does leave the perfect edge. There's no curling, you know, it's just beautifully cut. And do that again at 2 inches. And the measurements are quite true as well. Some of them you have to cut up to the line. It holds your paper in place as well. Like, thankfully this is just mucky. It will go through lots of paper, but it won't go through lots of cardstock. Let me just cut this again. Get rid of those little pieces. You know, it'll cut through loads of paper. It just doesn't seem to want to cut through a lot of card. Oh, now it's struggling, but it's gone through 1, 2, 3. Oh, mind you, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sheets of normal paper, and only one lot of the 300 GSM cardstock. So, but it's nice if you want to, you know, if you don't mind spending all afternoon doing one sheet of card at a time, this is the one for you. It's lightweight, it's portable, and you know, it's great. You've got I've got space here and here and here to keep more blades. That's the scoring blade, but you don't want to be changing cartridges every 2 minutes, which don't take long to do actually. You just lift this up, take that out, and then this is the scoring blade. Let me score one of my cards. Let me score my card base at 4 1/8. It's not the best score in the world, but it does score. Let me just flip that over. So it scores okay, but my paper's off. Look, it's not quite scored it right through the centre. This is why I don't tend to use a score. I like to butt it up myself, and then I do it so that way most of the time I get that bang on. Gosh, even my scoring's not. That's better. So I'm pretty bang on there now. So that's a card base for me to play with. Yeah, so I suppose if you were like a beginner, or you weren't doing bulk cards like I do, whoops, then I suppose it'd be great. But it's easy to swap the blade from the scorer to the thingy as well. There we go, and they just slot into place. You've got foot. Oh, actually, you've got 6 places. You've got 3 this end, 3 this end. Yeah. So I do like it, but I bought that on a recommendation from another demonstrator. Not directly to me. She didn't say go out and buy one. I liked her review on it, so I went and bought one. So I'm going to cut one on here now. Oh. So again, we've got to extend the arm because we can't cut more than 6 1/4 with this one. I always like to cut up because I am not the best. I haven't got much strength. So I've been known as I'm cutting to move my card as well, because we have the arm. So you have to cut up to the line, not over it, up to it on this one. But don't forget my cards. I like to cut up because, like I'm saying, if I'm coming down, this is not the sturdiest thing unless you press on it. And then, you know, again, my card's out. Let me just set this back down. I don't want to ruin a whole sheet of paper, otherwise I would show you, because when I cut downwards, look, and this is starting to blunt already. It's starting to kill. See that? It's starting to fray. See it? And that's what you get with a blade. But I love it for when we're going in. Let me just grab a sheet of just cheap white card. Do you know when we're doing like stepper cards or fun fold cards, and I say to you, right, put this in at 1 inch, take your blade down from 1 inch, and then cut down to 4 1/2. It's great for that. And then go back in at 1 inch. Oh, it might have to be 1 1/4 this time, or 1 1/8 at 1 inch, and cut down to 3. You know, it's great for that. You can't fault it for that. I can't moan at that because look, but this track gets dirty. I'm not having a go at it. It just, you have to constantly clean this because the bits down there can scuff your blade. You've got ways of ruining your blade with this. But if you're cutting things like this out, it's great. And there, what I do with those, go over with my bone folder, because you might have cut a little bit too far. Say, look there now, I've cut a little bit too far, see it? Right, now just go over with your bone folder. Just on both sides. Oops, and you can't see them, she says. You're sort of like squashing the fibres back together, so it can't be seen as much. So you don't see them now. But it's perfect for that. I can't moan at, you know, apart from it's starting to, look, it's starting to dull already. I've literally just seen me cut 2 pieces of card and this out, and I only put that blade in beginning of last week. No, end of last week. And I've only cut designer series paper with it. So, apart from the blades don't last long, there we go. Oh, but like I'm saying, for that sort of job, if you put a brand new blade in and do that, it's great. But as long as you don't cut anything thicker than the Stampin' Up's Whisper White, it doesn't like cutting anything thicker than that. I've got old blades which I keep here, because these are what you was using to cut out chipboard. They're perfect for that, but the only thing is you cut one way with chipboard, turn it over and you have to cut it again, because they're old blades. And then you've got to line it up bang on where you had the other one as well, otherwise you end up getting a bit of a frayed bit of chipboard. So that is that one. Now for my guillotine. I love this. Now once I've cut my cards down to A4 size, then I mean I can do 2 at a time on here. This is like 300 GSM, so there's 600 GSM between them 2 sheets. I pop them in. I've got a little mark at the 5 7/8, so I know it's true. I've got it because it's a bit hard to see these tiny little lines, so I measured that perfectly. I've got 2 in at a time, like I'm saying. And it goes through them, no problem. Love this. Perfect. So another 4 card bases. Trying to find something to cut up now. Get something out the scraps bin. I keep my card stock. If I've cut, I just needed, say, a piece of, say I needed a card layer. So what I do is I get 1 full sheet, I cut it in half so I've got a card base, and then the other one I'll cut down. So I will cut this one down with this. I need this now as a card layer to be 3 7/8. Let me cut it to 5 5/8 first. And these corners get damaged because I'm throwing them in the basket and not. I should be careful. So this is now 5 5/8 on that mark. And then I cut these down to 3 7/8 because these are going to be my first layer. And again, I can do 2 at a time with this. And I get the perfect cuts each time. You know, it's lovely. Can't moan at that. And then what I do then is chop down a piece of Whisper White, or just white cardstock. Because I've layered now, this would be 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. That then would be my perfect layering to give me a 1/4 inch border all the way around. Well, it's not a 1/4 inch all the way around, it works out 1/8 of an inch all around. And if you cut it 1/8 of an inch shorter, then it's 1/16 because you're going to compensate for top and bottom. So there's my layer. I just it's my eyesight is terrible. Let me just check. 3 and see, you only have to go over a fraction here. It needs to be level with that line there. 3 5/8 by, sorry, 5 3/8 by, I can't get it. My eyesight's gone. By 3 5/8. You see, the guide's not the best on this one, and that scuffed my paper up for some reason. But I do love my guillotine. I love my guillotine. There we go now. What's wrong with that? Perfect layering. Love it. I tend to rush. I should take my time. It's not cheap, the cardstock isn't. So there we're now go in my scraps bin, and I've got 2 card layering bases there. Right, let's move on to the fiskars. OMG, I have had a fiskars before, but it wasn't the. It was the one with the blade, and they do last a hell of a lot longer than the Stampin' Up blades. I have got 3 I've got 4 sheets left now. 1, 2, oh, 3 I've got. So I need to cut these. I've got to open a base up. The only thing is, look what I've done. I've got to try and get this on my desk as far as I have put a piece of Stampin' Up grid paper in there. It's chopped it off where I've got it bang on the 1 and I've got it bang on the 12, because here there's no measurements in between here, so I can now see 5 and 5/8, 5 and 3/4, and 5 and 7/8. And when I fold it, I cut it in half, so when I fold it, I can... Battery low. Oh, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. My battery just died a death. And here's me chops it away. Yeah, I've added a piece of grid paper here. Bang on 12, bang on the 1. So I've got, even on this bar, I've got the 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, half, 5/8, 3/4, and 7/8. So I can cut. You've got it on this side, but this bar's in the way for one. And they're not easily marked because they are in at what they're 1/16 in between each number. There's 16 notches, so you got to try and work out all the notches. But apart from that, everything else I can see. It's perfect from here. I can see both sides. But you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You've got 16. You've got 16 7-inch, which we had on the Stampin' Up trimmer, but they don't define one longer, or they don't do what much longer than the other one. So you've got to count 2, count 4, whatever. So I need this 8 1/4, and I like to cut downwards. Oh my gosh, I gotta try and get this paper in. So 8 1/4. I gotta put it on the lock because of this arm here. Now that isn't touching that arm properly, is it? Let me just pull this 8 1/4. For some reason, look at that. It's not tallying up to there. I know why. Gaynor, put your arm up. Look at this. Silly sausage. Right, now it's against there. It's against here. And this, now, it's brilliant. Look at that. That was, oh, it's left a little curl on there. See it? I wouldn't cut that many at that one time. I'd do 2. Right, now let's see if I can get this one down now. I've just watched a video on Jennifer Maguire with this, saying customer service is second to none with Fiskars. Any complaints, and it's got a lifetime guarantee apparently. Whether it's that on the machine or just on the blade. Oh, look at that. Cut that perfect. So it will cut multiple times, but it likes to give you a perfect straight edge. That's beautiful. No marks on there for me. That's beautiful. Love it. So let's get these cut in a straight line. Yeah, I was not compensating for this little arm here, but it's beautiful. It trims beautifully without any struggle. And it's easy. Look at that, it's made lightweight of that paper. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. But if you want to do like bulk cutting, even if you just want to take the time, put one, this is really thick cardstock. It cuts chipboard as well. With one finger, I can do it with my thumb. Right, let's chop these now. I can still see my 5 and... Oh, the only thing is, with that lit now, I can still see my 5 and 7/8. Let me just come back over here now. Hey, that's better. So I've got my 5 and 7/8 in. Look at that, I can do it with one finger. Perfect. Perfect. Five and 7/8. Oh, that's making light work of those. I don't want to put more than one sheet in because I don't want it to curl my sides. But for me, it wouldn't be a chore now to do this because it's like cuts through anything like butter. It's low. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So I've nearly got... I could go through a whole pack in no time and get this done with this trimmer. Love it. Oh, look at that. Nice, clean cuts. Oh, you won't hear me complaining again. So, last one. As I can say, apart from... That's the only downfall, no measurements in between these folded gaps. I think they should have a flap then, that, you know, when it folds down, it just leaves a flap over there, and then when you lift up it goes back to like what I've done with the paper. That would be perfect. But I love it for bulk cutting. That is just gonna save me a ton of time. Love that, absolutely love it. So there's my opinion on the trimmers. I love the Fiskars. Never have to buy blades again. Oh my god, I'm sold straight away. Because I buy two packs of blades at a time. Sometimes I used to buy 4 packs of blades at a time, so I didn't have to order all the time. So it's costing me £22. This cost me £80 off Amazon. It was £67.95, something like that, with £12 delivery. So in total it was £80. Bought most of the time, and again, this is never going to have a wonky blade. This blade is on 2 bars. You can't have it swinging and going offside. They're parallel. That blade is constantly just going to stay in a permanent straight line. Let me, you can store things underneath here, and then keep this closed. It clicks into place. Let me see if I... There is the blade. There, see it? So, and every time it passes this metal, it's sharpening it every time. So it's constantly going to keep sharpening itself. See that beautiful blade? Love it. I've always wanted one of these, always. It's got a lovely little pattern design on it. Like I say, apart from the measurements, unless you work in centimetres, then you're okay. But I like to work in inches. It's also, I've just noticed, let me open this up. It's got inches down the side as well. So I may even put one of those strips down here and down this side, depending on which way round I want to work. So, but this clips into place so your paper can't move. And then you can only lift this up if the guard is in place as well. But I love it. Yeah, best one ever. I'll never need to buy another blade for this trimmer ever again. So for me, it's win-win. It's light. It's put it this way. It's about 5 times lighter than the Big Shot for me. So, and I think the Big Shot's heavy. This is nothing. because I can't be going round, you know, doing all this. But I love it. Sorry for gas bagging too much again, I always do. One lady gave me a thumbs down, God bless her soul. It's my fault. I did a 50-minute video, I could have done it in 10. So I gave her a big love heart, and, you know, she did. I love it. I don't mind people leaving me a thumbs down. In fact, I don't care in the slightest. And I like the fact that this lady had the decency to say, Gaynor, I love your videos. I watch you all the time. But you could have done that in 10 minutes. And that's the only reason I'm giving you a thumbs down. And I was like, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Finally, somebody's given me a thumbs down and told me why. Normally, the cowards, they give you a thumbs down. They don't come back and say anything. So I applaud this lady for actually giving me some sound advice. I could have done it in 10 minutes. And thinking back afterwards, I'm going to do it again here. She's going to give me another one. And I don't blame her because I just gas bagged like mad. But yes, I could have explained what I needed to explain about my catalogue in 10 minutes, not 50. So I'm going to love and leave you. If you loved the video, I'd love a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down and tell me why. Again, it's probably because I'm gas bagging. But if you like what you saw, please press the subscribe button. Then the little bell, you'll be notified of all future videos, and I do tend to post on a daily basis. So thanks for watching. Bye.